Alright, tonight I'm going to look at backup speeds. So let's start with the dashboard. See, I got the dashboard running here. Here's a computer. Here's the properties. So let's start to figure out how long backups take and how much data we've got. Let's make this a little smaller here. So if we look at the files laid down on the hard drive, we can start to get a hint at how long backups are taking. Unlike home server v1, we don't really have access to that information anymore. So for instance, we go to Computer Properties, we look at backups, click on View Details, and that's it. It doesn't have start and stop time or how much data is backed up or how long it took. We can see the size of the partitions, 1.8 terabytes on a D drive and a C drive of a small SSD. Yeah, but that doesn't actually tell us that this thing's only 50% full, the D drive. So let's look under the hood a little bit and take a look at the backups themselves. So in this particular machine, you can see backups have been moved to a drive F. Client computer backups, sort by day and time. All right, so you'll see, let's backtrack here. We've got a backup was kicked off today at 5:06 p.m., October 9th. So we look in the hard drive here, October 9th at 5:06 it was kicked off. Notice the days and time stamps end at 5:33. So we've got 27-minute backups. Okay. So again, just figuring out the difference of the two. We kick it off at 5:06, and it finishes writing files to the library at 5:33. Therefore, a 27-minute backup. Next piece, how much data did it write? Well, a lot. You can see these large files. This gets trickier to calculate. Like, for instance, if we point to all the files that have that range of time, so 527 to 533. So it looks like it spent a lot of time calculating what clusters it changed, and then it started laying down files, large ones. 26.7 gig backup. All right. Now, it had been some days since I had last backed up, and I had made some changes to the system and done some cleanup of a 6 gig file, for instance. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of test this theory, and we'll do another backup. So, same gigabit network, same local network. This laptop is now going to get backed up another time. I think any old character is legal. I'm not sure it matters. So maybe we'll leave the clock kind of running here in the bottom of this window here, so we can watch time progress. All right, so we're going to start a manual backup at 8:54. Let's see how many minutes it takes. And just to test that this theory is sound, we should also see, since basically nothing has changed since my last backup, just yeah, nothing added or removed, no data, no significant files changed, just Windows has been running. So I started this backup at 8:54, and now we'll want to see how long that takes. I'll resume this video when it's done, and we'll take a look at the file system in the hard drive. Before I pause this video, though, let's just take a quick look and see what's happened already. So at 8:54, this set of files was written as it prepares for a backup. Later, we're going to see large DAT files start to show up. All right, I've resumed the video. If we look here at status, we should see backup status. There we go. According to my local computer, it's 96% done. Let me bring that up on the screen. So it's finishing the backup. We started at 8:56. It's 9:07. I'm at 96%. All right, so we popped into the dashboard on my local machine. You'll notice a difference here when we look at backup status. Successful. Okay, well, it just finished. 8:54, 9:07, so it finished a few seconds ago, so 6 plus 6, so 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Let's take a look at the file system and see if that agrees. So is it 12 minutes from when I started? Well, again, let's bring up that dashboard view. We have the dashboard view saying we started the backup at 8:54. We have the file system's last files laid down at 9:07. So indeed, that means the backup took 13 minutes. And the file size of all the backup files that were done, 12 gig. All right. Next. Sorry, I missed a couple files, but they're tiny. Still 12 gig. I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to do the same 7-minute backup of the same data set, which consists of these 2 drives again. Same machine. If we click on View Details, we'll see it's a SSD and traditional spinning hard drives that are in a RAID 0. So let me show you what they actually look like in the source machine. This is what we're talking about. About a 84 gig of data right there, and about a terabyte on that one. Used space, a little less than a terabyte. Okay. So let's go ahead and start Forefront. Do a scan. Actually, let me start the backup first. So right-click the backup. I'm jumping around here a lot. Excuse me while I set this up. So at 10 after, we'll start the backup. Click, backup. Whoops. Right-click, start a backup. And start Forefront Client Security and do a scan. All right, so now we got a backup going. At the same time, we have a scan going. If we look here, View Computer Properties, we'll see nothing from that quick backup to show you that it has minimal impact on the system. So we only have one virtual, or one CPU, one time a bit, and it kept the virtual machine a little bit busy. But it's just really, the Core i7 actually looked under that little tiny bit of load we just generated. Well, let's look at that. Performance, let's say CPU. Yeah, it spiked briefly. All right. How about a full scan, however? So let's now try a full scan. All right, if we look at the file system, we'll see files are still getting laid down. At 9:10 p.m., we started a second backup. And how do I show you status? Probably easiest to show on a local machine, where if I generate backup, it tells you the percent complete. Oh, there it is. Okay, CPU spiked briefly in the beginning, but now it looks like it's settled into the long haul, kind of doing the whole hard drive here. And it really is having a very minimal impact on the CPU. So this is much more extensive backup. The point being, even when the antivirus solution is at its very worst, with real-time scanning, by the way, always enabled through all these tests. But if we're actually doing a scan while trying to save files in a typical daily backup, I want to see if the backup time seems to be affected in any way. I'll go ahead and resume once we have gotten through this backup that was started at 9:10 p.m. 2 minutes ago. Okay, I'm resuming the video because my local system tray here, it's saying 94% done. There we go. It's very close to done. What does that mean? Well, we started at 9, let's take a look here, 9:10. We'll double check that in a minute when the backup's done. But yeah, it looks like even though the antivirus scanning is going on, and as the backup finishes here, it looks like the CPU is spiking a bit higher. Most of the time, the Forefront client security scan was not a big deal on the CPU. And for overall backup time, it doesn't look like it's really a big deal either. So that's all good. Something a little strange. So I'm on the local laptop right now, and I can't say backup to see the backup status. And if I look at the log, it doesn't show me the latest one yet, so it's a little bit odd. I'm kind of in limbo there. Okay, it just finished, I think. Nope, still saying 94%. Excuse me. How do I get backup status? There it is. So I right-clicked on the tray icon, went to backup, and got the status screen back up here. So it's almost finished. So it looks like maybe it's degraded the backup speed slightly. So far, maybe 10%. Hard to say, unless we did 3, 4, 5 runs. If every single run was exactly 13 minutes, and this one ends up being 15, that's maybe significant, but it's small. It doesn't matter to me, really. What I really want to see is the start time according to the user interface in the Launchpad compared to when it actually finishes based on when it last laid down files on the file system. And again, if that's anywhere near 13 minutes, I consider this a success where even if Forefront Client Security is actively doing a full system scan, maybe when I kick off, say, there will be backup degradation seen. That's the theory. But daily scans are actually just quick scans. So this is not really a terribly realistic scenario. The daily scan took a minute or so. It was really, really crazy fast. So I believe we're coming up on maybe 16 minutes. I think we started at 9:10. So as we wait for this to finish up, the last test I want to do is, what if I turn off real-time virus scan? So I'm going to disable Forefront. Then I'm going to do a backup. Am I still around 13 minutes, or actually significantly less? Okay, I'll go ahead and resume the video when this thing is 100%. So it's finished. So it says it started at 9:10, and let's see when it finished. 9:31. All right. So 21 minutes. So 13 minutes became 21 minutes with this scan going on. But again, I don't see a full scan going on during backup. So it looks like Microsoft Forefront Client Security is set so that when you do a full scan, it's a priority task. You're doing it for a reason, and it seems to definitely have a bigger impact on CPU. I'll also point out I'm on a single 1.5 terabyte hard drive. So this is not like a RAID array or a really high-end. A single core of an with hyperthreading 8 cores on a Core i7 is all that's given to this VM. But really, it's disk throughput here. So we're getting the hard drive head seeking all over as it does the scan at the same time as a backup. Fine, that wasn't a great idea, no problem. Let's go ahead and do the more interesting test, and that is just disable real-time virus protection. So if we go to Options, you'll see the default behavior is daily quick scans, and then it tells you what it's going to do. And for real-time, you'll see a whole bunch of products in the list there. Let me maximize that window so you can see it better. We're going to turn off real-time in just a second. Just give you a quick view of all the different stuff in here. Okay. So we turn off real time. We should get a big nasty warning when we go to the home page. Nope, guess not. So I thought we were going to get a warning that real time's been disabled. We don't. But let's go back in options, make sure it's saved my change there. I told it I don't want real time, and it is off. So that's the list of stuff real time protection is holding you from. All right. And here we go. So now it's time to do that last backup I mentioned. So it's going to be starting at 9:34. Okay, you can see it created a bunch of files over here. Go ahead and resume the video when that's done. All right, the backup finished. So again, let's go with looking at the backup time. So it started at 9:34, and it seems to have ended at 9:48. So we're looking at a difference of 14 minutes. So whether real-time scanning is on or off, doesn't seem to make a difference. 13 or 14 minutes backup. In fact, this one is actually slightly slower even with real-time off. So before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and turn real-time back on, save it, and move on to more important things and not worry about leaving Forefront running 24/7. Although, I would probably change the time. So since my backups do happen around 2 a.m., how about I do the daily scan when all the machines are already backed up, let's say 7 a.m. So hopefully you found this video useful. Thank you for watching.